Sports have always been, I think, integral part of my upbringing. So my father played collegiate sports at Union College. Both of my parents were in the military, and sports was very important to them. So from a young age, I think I played a little bit of everything. Basketball and soccer were the main things, but I played football. I ran cross country one year, played lacrosse for a season, was on the swim team. So I just loved sports my entire life. And once I got to high school, and you have to choose what you're going to specialize in. And for me, that became basketball. Luckily, was walking to basketball practice one day and had a basketball hoodie on, and stumbled into a study abroad fair. And I'm seeing all these things about Valencia and Barcelona and Milan. And one of the guys came over to me and was like, "Hey, you should go check out this booth. They do a basketball athletic training internship in Australia." And I had no interest at the time in kinesiology or biology or anything of that sort, but I went over and started talking to the folks, and they actually told me that their competitor does a sports marketing internship in Sydney, Australia with the National Basketball League. And when I kind of heard that, I was like, this is, for a lot of reasons, it makes a lot of sense for me. One, I want to travel. I wanted to push myself and get out of my comfort zone and kind of go see a new culture and really try to grow in New Orleans that year. And from a PR perspective, basically all the decision makers, all the people with hiring capabilities at their organization in PR are all there at the Super Bowl. So for me, it was, okay, here's an opportunity for 10 days while I'm down there. I'm going to sign up for everything. If there's a press conference at 6 a.m. and one at 9 p.m., I'm going to go, because you never know who you're going to meet. Somebody might see you, might have a question, might need you to run an errand. And if you can do that and show them that whatever the situation that comes up, that you're going to execute and deliver, to me it was, okay, here's a 10-day job interview, and if I go out and crush it, then, who knows what happens next. And I'll say, once I got back from the Super Bowl, finished up with the Giants, I moved home, and I was at home for 2 months. And those were the longest 2 months of my entire life. And, applying everywhere, reaching out to every team, putting together portfolios. But again, it's that, everyone sees the allure of the NFL, but to get there, you got to put in a ton of work and a ton of effort. And I think anybody that has made it to a position that they, love and covet, I think anyone would have that same story, that they've had to make a ton of sacrifice to get there, but once they do, it's worth it. It's so important. And my boss in Jacksonville was a guy that I met at the Super Bowl. And when I started interviewing, we had that familiarity from a couple, one or two conversations when we were in New Orleans. But I think a great story with that is, you build this all up, you're excited. I went down to Jacksonville, and the way that they had kind of pitched it to me was, it's probably going to be an internship for the first year, and then if everything goes well, then we probably look to hire you on, the following year. So I get down there, and at that point I'm 22 years old, and I'm fired up because I'm in an NFL stadium and interviewing. And the very beginning of the day, they're like, "Oh yeah, I don't know if we told you before, but it's going to be for a full-time job now. There's no internship aspect." So it's kind of like the beginning of the day, you're like, "All right, I finally have the opportunity that I've been seeking for 2.5 years, and it's staring me in the face. So now, like, how am I going to go get this?" And it was a fun interview process. I remember they had a quiz for me, and it was about the history of the team. And I met with, the team writer, the general manager. There was a time where Maurice Jones-Drew, one of our players at the time, walks into the office, and he's like, "Where are you from?" And I was like, "Well, I was with the Giants last year." He's like, "Okay, let's call Eli. Let's call Eli Manning and see if you were any good." And he sits there and calls Eli Manning. He's like, "Hey, have you ever worked with this kid Tad, this tall, goofy intern?" And Eli's like, yeah. He's a good kid, man. Always helped me out with autograph stuff. He would always be running errands for my foundation. Great kid." And Maurice is like, "Hey, he's good. Hire him." And I was like, what the heck is going on right now? But that's how it is. You never know what interaction, who you meet, how it's going to affect, 5 dominoes down the road. So when we first started playing over there, 2013, which was my first year with the team, was our first year playing in London. And at that time, we were ranked at the very bottom of the NFL in terms of our, the Jaguars' presence in London and the fandom of London fans. And obviously, when we made the commitment, first it was to play there through 2020, and then it expanded to 2025. So our owner, Shad Khan, he's made a definite commitment to that city and to trying to grow our presence in London. And we've been able to see ourselves continue to jump up that list of fandom. So the most recent metric I saw was that we were ranked 9th. So just in 6 years, we've been able to kind of jump all the way from 32 to 9. And like you said, with the fan presence, we have to find unique ways to connect to them. Not just the week that we're playing there, not just the week leading up to it, but if they're craving Jaguars content and want to know about our team in April, we can't forget about them. So in everything that we do, we have to make sure that we're including them in our strategic planning. Yeah, when I first got into the league, you know, the Twitter wave was kind of what was taking over, and for me, it's more about trying to educate the people around us. So, you know, especially with our players, you know, I'm not telling them tweet this, don't tweet that. That's not my job at all. My job is to advise them on what I think is best. So, you know, if a guy is really active in his hometown, you know, I might try to give him ideas about how he can engage with people in his hometown or show community initiatives that he's doing in his hometown. And that's all. That education process takes place, you know, a lot with our rookies when they first get in the league, but it's ongoing. I think what I mean by saying that is any opportunity that you have to grow or to meet somebody or to try something new, you know, you should take those on and take them on with, you know, full commitment. So you never know if it's something small and it might seem minuscule and you're running to make copies for somebody, but then you come back and they say, hey, okay, you did that for me. Can you do this for me? And then it might be a little bit bigger of a project. And all of a sudden now you've done 7 projects for somebody and they trust you. Okay, hey, now things are happening quickly and I need you to jump in and help me with this. And this is a big deal. And now other people are seeing your work. So I think it all goes back to you never know what opportunity is going to lead to the next opportunity. And if you start trying to pick and choose what you think is good and what's not, somebody else is getting that opportunity and somebody else is growing from it and learning from it and, you know, growing their presence. So I think anytime you have the chance to try something, you know, whether it's out of your comfort zone or not, you should definitely go at it full speed.